So coming to start, lying on your back, soles of the feet together, knees falling out to the side. You can just rest your back down. One hand to chest, one hand to tummy. Just gently close your eyes. And starting to breathe through your nose. So both the inhale and the exhale through the nose, if that's okay for you this evening. And we'll start by simply noticing the breath. So this should seem quite familiar if you've already done the journaling and the guided meditation. So we'll start by simply noticing the breath. Noticing if it's fast or slow, whether it's coming all the way down to the tummy or whether it's coming just into the chest. Next, moving on to scan through our body. So starting at the head, just noticing if you're holding any tension between the eyebrows. Just unfurrowing the brows. Relaxing through the jaw. And now scanning down the body, just noticing any tension, any discomfort in the body, starting with the neck. Coming into the shoulders. Down through the arms, to the wrists and the hands. Next, coming to the back of the body, so the upper back, down through the torso, the lower back, and down through the hips, the legs, the ankles, the feet and the toes. Next, drawing your attention to how you're feeling emotionally. So just checking in with your heart space, that space where your hand is on your chest, just noticing if there's any tension that you can feel there. Just taking a moment to recognize any emotions that you might be feeling. And as we've already said, just knowing that any of those emotions, they're not going to last. And then breathing a little bit deeper, taking deep inhales through the nose, exhaling through the nose. So trying to create a nice even inhale and exhale. You can count in your head if you like. And just setting the intention for our practice today, that we want to find a little bit of peace and comfort. And taking a deep inhale through the nose, exhale it through the mouth. And 2 more breaths like that, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And last one, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just bringing your hands down towards your knees. You can gently guide the knees back together. And extend the legs out. Gently blinking the eyes open. And we'll start by hugging the right knee in towards the chest. So just drawing the right knee in towards the chest. You can either keep the left leg extended or you can bend the knee and place the foot down on the mat if you need. And release the right leg, and we'll swap sides, drawing the left knee in towards the chest. Either right leg extended or right foot down to the mat. And release the left leg. Just drawing both knees in towards the chest, having a little rock across the back. And then squeezing the knees in tight towards the chest before rocking backwards and forwards down the length of the mat a couple of times until we come all the way up to sit. And I'll just turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. So if you can sit in a cross-legged position, whatever that means for you, whether it's one foot in front of the other or just ankles crossed, that would be perfect. If you need to extend the legs, that's absolutely fine. Just try and sit up nice and tall, so nice long spine. Okay, and we'll bring the, I'm assuming you're all going to be looking straight at the screen. We'll bring the left hand down to the mat. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, stretching it over. And on an inhale, come back to center. Exhale here. Inhale, reach the left hand up. Exhale, stretching over to the side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale here. This time both hands go up. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, twisting to your left hand side. Arms open up. And then either at shoulder height or you can bring the hand to the inside of your knee to help you rotate round a little bit further. Come back to center, reach the arms up. On an exhale, twisting to the other side. Inhale, come center, reach up. Exhale, hands down to the mat. And we'll just do one more round of each. So left hand down, inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, stretching over. Inhale, back to center. Exhale here. Inhale, other arm reaches up. Exhale, stretching over. Inhale to center. Exhale here. Inhale, reaching both arms up. Exhale, twisting to the left. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, twisting to the other side. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Drawing the hands down to the heart. Just interlace the fingers and then we'll push the arms away. Just feel as though you're drawing the shoulder blades apart. So just getting a nice stretch into the back of the shoulders. And then release the fingertips down towards the mat. We're going to fold forward. Want to try and keep the sit bones grounded. So if you feel like your sit bones are lifting up, then you just need to come up a little bit higher. So folding as far as you can before you start to lift. And walking the fingertips over to the right hand side until you're kind of folding over your right leg. Again, just keeping the sit bones down. Walking back to center. Over to the other side. Walking the hands back to center, walking them in towards you. And then we'll come over onto hands and knees. Okay, so this is where you might want to put a folded blanket underneath your knees if your knees are sensitive. And then you're going to bring your hands under your shoulders and knees directly under your hips. Okay, we'll do this nice and slowly because we want it to be a nice calming, grounding practice. I'm going to come through a little flow of poses incorporating child's pose and cat and cow. So just follow along if you're not familiar with it. We'll go slowly. You should get to grips with it. On the inhale, we're going to drop the tummy, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. Exhale, rounding the spine, just taking the gaze towards the tummy. Inhale, looking up again, up cat. Exhale, tuck toes behind you. Push your hips back, downward dog. On an inhale, coming back down to hands and knees, looking up. Exhale, pushing your bottom back towards your heels, child's pose. And coming back to the start on an inhale, coming forward, looking up, up cat. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, up cat. Exhale, tuck toes, downward dog. Inhale, hands and knees looking up. Exhale, child's pose. So just doing 3 more rounds the same. Inhale, up cat. Exhale to round. Inhale, up cat. Exhale, tuck toes, downward dog. Inhale, up cat. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, up cat. Exhale to round. Inhale, up cat. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, up cat. Exhale, child's pose. Last round, inhale, up cat. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, up cat. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, up cat. Exhale, pushing back to child's pose, just pausing here for a moment. And gently start to bring yourself back up onto hands and knees. And from here, we're going to step the right foot forward between the hands. And coming into a low lunge. So you want to keep your knee in line with your ankle, sinking forward. If you can, sweeping the arms up, maybe taking the gaze up towards the thumbs as well. Then draw the hands down to the heart. So you've got hands in prayer at the heart. Take an inhale here. Exhale, twisting over to your right hand side. So you're going to try and bring the left elbow to the outside of the right knee so that you're kind of twisting, pushing into the hands to rotate the chest. Coming back to center, bring the hands down to the mat and stepping that right foot back to tabletop, hands and knees. Okay, same on the other side, this time stepping the left foot between the hands, coming into your low lunge. Bringing your hands together at the heart. Take an inhale at center. Exhale, twisting to your left. Right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Pushing the hands together to rotate the chest. Inhale, back to center. Hands down to the mat. Stepping yourself back. Tabletop. Now just spreading the fingers nice and wide so you've got a nice firm base. We'll tuck the toes under behind us, pushing hips up and back to downward dog. So you might want to pedal through the feet a few times, so bending one knee generously, pushing the opposite heel down and then swapping over. We're trying to get a nice long spine, so really pushing the hips up and back in this pose. So you might need to bend generously into the knees anyway. And then slowly starting to walk yourself towards the top of the mat. So coming up onto fingertips, bending the knees as much as you need. Coming to stand in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Feet are about hip distance apart. You can bend into your knees as much as you need. Just hold opposite elbows and let yourself dangle down. Trying to relax through the neck, so you might want to give it a little sway from side to side, or the whole of your upper body a sway from side to side. Just imagine that any of those emotions that we're not enjoying feeling can just flow straight out through the top of our head. None of them are permanent. And then releasing the arms, slowly start to unravel, coming all the way up to stand. Rolling shoulders back. Okay, I'll turn so that you can see me again. Bringing big toes together. Heels can be slightly apart, or if it's not comfortable that way, just bring feet about hip distance. Hands together at the heart. And then we're going to come into chair pose. So take an inhale here, exhale, sitting back as if you're sitting into an imaginary chair. Keeping the spine nice and long, but sinking the hips down. So nice strong legs, you should feel a bit of engagement through the tummy. Really grounding and rooting down through the feet. And then coming back up. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, looking up. Exhale, hands come back to the heart. Inhale, lifting through the chest. Exhale, sinking into your chair pose again. Inhaling at center. Exhale, twisting to your right. So left elbows coming to the outside of the right knee again. Pushing the hands together. And then inhale back to center. And then hands to heart. Okay, one more on the other side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lifting through the chest. Exhale, twisting to your left-hand side this time. And then coming back to center, coming all the way up, reaching the arms up, and then hands back to heart. Okay. Staying where you are, you're going to have the feet about hip distance apart this time. And think about really grounding through the feet and finding a sense of having even weight between both feet. So those of you who have been to my classes in the yurt before, you'll know, picking up the toes, spreading them wide, placing them back down, standing up nice and tall. And we'll start by taking the weight into our left leg. And then we'll see if we can start to draw the right knee in towards the chest. So find a focus point on the floor or the wall. You can either stay there, or we will try opening the knee out to the side and then taking it into our tree pose. So the foot's going to come either to the inside of the thigh, inside of the calf, or maybe even with toes touching on the mat. Just don't press it directly into the opposite knee. Once you're there, bringing hands to the heart. Your thumbs are back at the heart, back at the chest. Just bringing your awareness to that point, so feeling the breath coming in and out, moving your hands slightly, moving your thumbs slightly. And then release that right leg down, and we're going to step it back. You should end up in like a high lunge. And then you want to turn the foot so that you end up in warrior two. So your right foot's going to be forward, left foot's going to turn parallel with the back of the mat. So I'm having to move around the mat a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Bending into the front knee and the back leg straight. Then on an inhale, straighten through the right leg, bring the arms up above you, looking up to the thumbs. Exhale, re-bend into the right knee, arms come to shoulder height. Inhale, reaching up, straightening the leg. Exhale, back down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, back down. This time, reaching the arms up and drawing hands down to the heart. And then turning both feet so that they're parallel with the short edges of your mat. You might want to adjust how wide you are. We're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. So forward folds are really, really good for managing our emotions. They're really calming. So just adjusting the feet to where we want the feet parallel. Maybe the toes are pointing very slightly in towards each other. Starting off with hands at waist. Inhale, lifting through the chest. Exhale, hinging from the hips and folding forward. You can either keep your hands where they are or maybe releasing them down towards the mat. Same as before, trying to let the neck relax. So not trying to hold the head up, just letting it dangle. You might like to give it a little shake to make sure you're doing that. And then bringing hands back to the waist, slowly rolling yourself up to stand. Turning back towards the top of your mat, taking a big step forward. And we'll come into tree pose on the other side. Okay, so you'll be standing at the top of your mat, just grounding through the feet again. Just make sure you've got that even weight between the feet like last time. This time we'll take the weight into the right leg. Start to draw the left knee in towards the chest. If you're having trouble with your balance, just check that you're engaging your standing leg. So as if you were pulling through the kneecap, as if you were engaging this quad muscle and your kneecap is getting pulled up. Opening out to the side. And then taking your foot into your tree position. So wherever you are is fine, as long as you're not pressing this foot onto your opposite knee, your left foot onto your opposite knee. Don't worry if you slide out, just take your time to find your balance again. As before, just drawing your attention to that space where your thumbs are meeting your chest. Just steadying your breath if you find it's uneven. And then release that leg and we're going to step it back. So stepping it back into our high lunge to begin with. And then turning the foot so that it's parallel and coming into warrior two. So you're bending into your right knee, arms at shoulder height. Inhale, straighten through the front leg, looking up towards the hands. Exhale, rebending, arms come to shoulder height. Inhale, straightening the right leg, arms come up. Exhale, back down. One more the same, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, back to warrior two. This time, straightening the leg, drawing the hands up, and then hands come down to heart. Turning the feet parallel with the short edges of the mat. And same as before, hands come to waist. Inhale, lifting through the chest. Exhale, folding forward. Hands can either stay at the waist or come down to the mat. Or if you're quite comfortable and familiar with this pose, you might want to reach out towards the big toes to draw yourself in a little bit closer. And hands come back to waist, slowly roll yourself all the way up to stand. Turning towards the top of your mat. Big step forward. Relax the arms. Stepping out to about the width of the mat with heels in and toes pointing out towards the side. Hands at heart. So we're at our really grounding yogi squat pose. Don't worry about how low you get. This is going to really vary from person to person, so don't worry if you're not down as low as I'm going to be in a sec. It's on an inhale, lengthening through the chest again. Exhale, starting to bend into the knees and dropping your hips down. Okay, so your hips might drop all the way down, in which case your elbows will come between the knees to push them out to the side slightly. And just try and think about lifting up through your chest so you're not completely dropping down. If you're all the way up here, that's absolutely fine. Wherever you are is fine. And then bringing fingertips down to the mat, start to straighten through the legs. Heel toe the feet so that they're about hip distance apart again. And just forward folding. Rolling all the way up. And then once you're there, inhale, sweeping the arms up above us, looking up. Exhale, folding all the way back down to the mat, bending the knees as much as you need. Place the hands down to the mat, stepping back to downward dog. Then coming forward, dropping the knees down to the mat, coming onto hands and knees. Big toes come together, knees out to the side. Pushing back into an extended child's pose. So your forehead will rest on the mat if it reaches. If not, just bend your elbows and bring your hands underneath. And slowly start to come back up, bring knees back to hip distance apart, and hands just in front of us. Just have a sway from side to side with the hips. And then we'll sit back onto the heels and swing our legs round in front of us. So sitting with legs extended, bending into the right knee and bringing the right foot to the inside of the thigh. Okay, turning the torso towards the left leg. Inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, hinging from the hips to fold forward with a nice flat back. So if you're anything like me with tight hamstrings and tight back, you might be up quite high, you might not be folding that close to your left leg. Slowly rolling the body back up. Bringing the right knee back up. Picking up that right foot and crossing it over the left leg, just placing the foot back down. We'll stay with the left leg extended, so just flex the foot so that the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lifting and lengthening through the chest. Exhale, twisting to your right hand side. So you can hug the knee in with your left arm. Taking the gaze over your right shoulder if that's comfortable for your neck. And coming back to center, releasing the right leg, extending it away so both legs are extended again. This time, bending the left knee, bringing the foot to the inside of the thigh. And same as before, inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, hinging from the hips as if you're pointing tummy towards thigh. Nice long spine. Slowly rolling the body back up. Picking up the left foot, crossing it over the right leg, placing the foot down. Again, flexing the right foot so toes are up, pointing up. Inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, twisting to your left. Maybe taking the gaze over your left shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall. Coming back to center. Releasing the left leg. Bringing ourselves down onto our backs. And hugging the knees in towards the chest. Wrapping your arms all the way around the knees. So as if you're giving yourself a great big hug. It's funny because the body reacts in the same way when you give it a hug as it does when you get a hug from someone else. You get the same sort of chemical reactions. So squeezing the knees in towards the chest, hugging them in. And then release the legs and we will get ourselves ready to come into Shavasana, our final resting pose. So if you want to grab a jumper, any cozy socks or a blanket, anything like that to just get comfy, you can do. And when you're ready, extending the legs. So the legs can come out to about the side of the mat so that you're taking up a little bit of space. And if you feel comfortable to, we'll finish with our relaxation with our hands in the same position as we had at the start. So one hand on the chest, one hand on the tummy. So just find a comfortable position you can rest in. If this hand position is not comfortable for you, by all means, just do whatever feels comfortable and feels right for you this evening. And just allow your breath to settle down into its natural pattern. So gently close your eyes, letting the breath settle. Feel your forehead soften and your body get heavy on the mat as you allow yourself now to completely relax from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers, to the tips of your toes. Just taking a few minutes now, soak in the benefits of our practice and simply breathe and be. Just start to breathe a little bit deeper now. Bring some awareness back to the body. A little bit of movement to the fingers, to the toes. Gently roll the head from side to side. Gradually make the movements a little bit bigger, maybe circling through the wrists, the ankles, until they lead you into a nice big full body stretch. And when you're ready, just gently rolling onto your side. Just curling up into a little ball and pausing there before pushing into your hands. Gently ease yourself back to a comfortable seated position. Once you're there, just bringing your hands back to your heart and just closing your eyes again if you've opened them. And just checking in with how you're feeling now compared with how you felt at the start of the class. So either emotionally, physically, both. Just noticing if there's been any shifts, any changes for you. Remembering that all of the emotions are temporary. Maybe your emotions and the way you're feeling has changed even in the past hour, 45 minutes. And then closing our practice with a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Gently blinking the eyes open. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. May the peace of yoga stay with you all. Namaste.